Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach, and today we would like to discuss something which has affected the entire world, and that is the lockdown after COVID-19 outbreak, which is pandemic. And now the vaccinations are going all over the world, in fact in all the major countries, and the certification of vaccination is being issued. So what is the implication of getting these certified? To discuss this further, let me invite my friend from UK, Mr. Neville Gaunt.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. Well, we're more or less a year on from COVID really being announced in the western part of the world. In fact, 2 weeks ago, Italy was the first country in the West to lock down, and the UK followed a couple of weeks later. So we're a year on. We've learnt a lot. We've now been through 3 lockdowns. We're going through the third lockdown. We're coming out of that lockdown now. We have a roadmap to getting things back to some type of normality, and part of that is the importance of the vaccine. Now, the vaccine isn't a 100% protection against COVID-19, but just like the flu jab that I get every year, it's a deterrent. It's an assistance to my system to help me fight off any flu viruses that are out there. Remember, coronavirus is just another one of those flu viruses. So where we are today, CK, simple fact is, you've had your first jab, I've had my first jab, so congratulations to the pair of us. No side effects, no ill effects. I had a little sore shoulder for a day, but that was about it. And typically I get the same with a flu jab, so not surprising I had a little reaction. But we're now into the arena of passports, this discussion about a COVID-19 passport. And maybe in India, it's not really been talked about yet. But what have you heard about passports?
Well, Neville, we have not heard about this word as passport, but I think the certification is being issued, and the information which is there in certification is on what date you got it. There is a local authority number, who administered the vaccination on you, and things like that. So when we have this kind of certification, we have to always keep it with us. And the understanding is that whenever you walk into a public place, you might have to flash it. Nobody is talking about it, but the very fact is the government is asking that you should download a certificate and also upload in an application, which means that it will have some utility in future. We are not calling it passport, but the certification is still there.
Well, the interesting thing is, I too have a passport, have my vaccination certificate. It tells me the date and time, which vaccination I had. It says AstraZeneca, batch AB0009, date 5th of the 2nd, 21. And when I go for my second, I'm sure it will be exactly the same, with a sticker on exactly the same, because it's just a small sticker that's put on there, and it will say second vaccination. So it left 2 dates on it. And the interesting thing is, we weren't told to keep it, but there's a reason why they give you this, presumably. It was great. I got a little sticker too that I could proudly present on my lapel as I went out, and I actually, just so I remembered, I stuck it on the inside of my phone. So in some respects, I've got 2 proofs that I've had a COVID vaccination. But of course, that's just a bit of paper. And as you've mentioned, it's just an app. And apps and bits of paper can easily be hacked. In fact, on the BBC today, someone's mentioned Blockbuster. Do you remember the Blockbuster card, your little video card that you would take in typically every Friday and grab a video for the weekend that you or your kids are going to watch? And they'd stamp the card and stamp a bit like going to the library, the old library cards. And it was like gold dust. You wouldn't let that out of your sight, but they're so easy to replicate. Look at the lengths that governments go to these days, where their own paper currency has now got watermarks and transparency and these thin sort of gold leaves down the center, so that they're making sure that nobody can counterfeit them. Because at the end of the day, it's a currency. It's got true value, true meaning out there. And even coins, on many occasions when the new pound coin came out, people have been replicating the pound coin so that they could get away with printing millions of coins and earning easy money. So there's going to be a lot of fraudulent behavior that's going out there of people saying I've had the vaccine, in fact, when they really haven't. So passports are something of, if you're a traveller, you've got a passport. Let me ask you a simple question. I know you're a traveller. Do you know where your passport is?
Oh yes, it's one of the most valuable document that I have, and I keep it safely with me all the time.
And in India, you've got a national identity card as well, haven't you? So that's presumably something that you keep safe because it's yours. You own it. It's your signature wherever you go. You've also got credit cards and bank cards. Have you still got a library card?
No, Neville.
I'm only joking, because we're used to having all of these types of IDs, which are very personal to us. And we're hearing more and more now that this vaccination certificate is going to be your passport to travel. It might even be your passport to work, because already some companies out there are saying no vaccine, no job, which is interesting. I mean, a year ago, we would never have thought of this. We were all praying that someone would come up with a vaccine. But the linkage between a vaccine passport and a job, or being allowed to travel, probably wasn't in most people's vocabulary, not even anyone's thought process. We were focused on what's important. But today, the likelihood is that vaccination certificate will be your license to operate, your license to travel, your license maybe even to get a job. What do you think on that?
Well, in a sense, COVID has created a situation where uh, you have to present two documents, either of the one. One, you have been tested and you have been tested negative, then only you can travel, you can go to a public place, or you have been vaccinated. So I think it's a reality, and we are just ignoring it or shying away from it. I think we have been, it's almost a year now, we have been asked these two documents. If I have to take a flight, I have to show a negative report, or I have to basically say that I have been vaccinated. So I think it's already happening, Neville.
It is already happening, and I think the thing is, let's not be worried about it. Let's plan for the future. So, and the other thing is, it's keep these documents safe. I'm at the ripe old age of 62, and I know where my degree certificate is, and I know where my accountancy certificates are, and my MBA certificate, etc., etc. I know where they are. They're in a cupboard in the back end of my bedroom. Do I ever refer to them? No. Do I ever use them? No. But 20 years ago, I would have done. So I think it's just high time that people dust off some of their certificates and get them all into one place. Even take a photograph of all of them. Use your iPhone or your Android. Take pictures of them, stick them in the cloud, and it's your ready library, if you like, if someone asks you, because you can always download it from the cloud. All you got to do is remember your log on and your password, which is another interesting thing, remembering your password. But it's an interesting subject today. We are a year on. We've learned a lot more. As I say, we're coming out of our third lockdown. We're hearing that Italy is going into another lockdown. This is the thing of the 21st century, it would appear, and it's time that we just acknowledge it, don't fight it, take it in your stride, and be safe and be smart, and get out there, get your vaccine, if indeed that's what you want to do, and keep that passport to hand.
Absolutely, Neville. In fact, in India, we have the biometrics based national ID card, and all the vaccinations so far I've seen are linked with that. So the government knows that who is actually getting vaccinated. There is a number assigned, and all is stitching back to the national ID, which is based on your fingertips and your iris, your retina scans. So I think it is already there, whether we accept it or not, and be ignorant about it, but I think it's going to be. I think there will be more jabs in future which will get linked to your national ID, at least in India I can talk about. So I think it's a reality. So thank you so much for bringing this up, Neville, today, and I'm sure most of the listeners would also agree with what we are talking about here, and we look forward to your comments. If you agree with us, do write in. And if you even don't agree with us, please do write in. We will bring you live in our show in the next episode. So, Neville, thank you so much. We will catch up tomorrow again on something more interesting.
It's a pleasure, CK. And good luck, everybody. Do the right thing.